There are two things about Jade Harley that I regret not covering in more detail back when I was making Fridge Stuck. And the reason I didn't cover them mainly had to do with self-motivated research. Or the lack thereof. Occasionally, one has to skim over information in order to prioritize the main points of a video. I foolishly figure people know what I'm alluding to all the time, if not researching the facts on their own. This is something I highly recommend in all areas of life. Don't blindly believe everything everyone says, especially on the internet. This would be a really wise statement, if I wasn't guilty of being a hypocrite. One of these facts came to my attention from a comment here on YouTube. I read it and immediately dismissed it without looking into it, only to discover its validity a whole year later. Oops. Jade did not deserve such disservice. That is what post-canon is for. So let's get crackin', shall we? Here's a couple of fairy tale-based Jade fridge facts. In Jane Crocker's Fridge Stuck, I ended on a mild freakout about her and Jade's supposed connection to the Little Red Riding Hood. The tale of the little girl encountering a wolf while attempting to visit her grandmother has been around for ages. However, keep in mind that classic fairy tales were really dark, since they were made not just to entertain children, but adults as well. Also, if the modern fairy tale has any moral to it at all, it is probably a watered-down version of the original meaning. Now, what could the moral of Little Red Riding Hood be? Let's see. So our main character faces a predatory animal, wears a hood, and is a young maiden. A predator after a maiden in a hood. Maidenhood. Oh yeah. Even the older European folk tales that predate the official Grimm Brothers story depict a little girl being tricked by a wolf or a werewolf in the guise of someone she trusts. Sometimes the wolf has the girl unwittingly eat the flesh of her dead grandmother. Sometimes the wolf asks the girl to get in bed with him before he inevitably devours her. And some versions have it so that the wolf tells her to take off all her clothes and throw them in the fire first, literally destroying her maidenly hood. The first printed version by Perrault also included Little Red Riding Hood crawling into bed with the wolf before being eaten. Perrault even includes a moral at the end.
From this story one learns that children, especially young lasses, pretty, courteous and well-bred, do very wrong to listen to strangers, and it is not an unheard thing if the wolf is thereby provided with his dinner. I say wolf, for all wolves are not of the same sort. There is one kind with an amenable disposition, neither noisy, nor hateful, nor angry, but tame, obliging and gentle, following the young maids in the streets, even into their homes. Alas! Who does not know that these gentle wolves are of all such creatures the most dangerous?
That awkward moment when Into the Woods and 2011's Red Riding Hood are closer to the actual tale than you'd imagine. So yeah, Jane and Jade playing the roles of Red Riding Hood and the wolf respectively kind of broke my mind for a bit. Don't know if Hussey intended the reference, but he did have our maid wearing a red hood. And I guess the condescension played the real grandmother because she's Grandma Betty Crocker? Now here's the other fact. It probably comes to no surprise that the god tier clothes for the witch class are partially based on the Wicked Witch of the East, from The Wizard of Oz, specifically the 1939 film version. But Hussey is known for his subtlety, so it's understandable if you missed it. Yep. So subtle. But seriously, Jade turning evil makes a lot of sense in hindsight, especially when you realize that she references both of Oz's wicked witches. The general gist of the comment that brought this to my attention was that Jade Harley was a reference to the Wicked Witch of the West, as depicted by Elphaba from Wicked. My initial reaction was, what? The only things that Jade has in common with the Wicked Witch of the West and Elphaba is, of course, the witch class, wearing black, and being associated with the color green. However, your girl Jen is a big old dum-dum, like super stupid, like wow, and I didn't remember that Wicked the musical was based on a book. No, not that one. This one. Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West by Gregory Maguire. A much darker, political, and violent retelling of E.F. Baum's Oz series. I have never read Wicked because my friends wanted to shield me from the book's disturbing subject matter, and therefore they talked teenage me out of reading it. And now, as an adult, I have no interest in reading it at all. So, just so you know, I'm getting all this information secondhand. On the cover, Maguire's version of Elphaba might seem very similar to the 1939 film's Wicked Witch, but oh no. Wicked's Elphaba is not like other witches. Not only is she a morally complex individual, see her extremist actions and her long-standing affair with the married prince Fiyero, but her appearance is described as something between human and animal, and possibly even between male and female. In comparison, Jade Harley is literally half dog when it comes to her god-tier form, and, depending on how you view the canonicity of the epilogues in Homestuck 2, is intersex. Same goes for the affairs with the married characters. Dang it, Homestuck 2! So, with all of that, what do you guys think of the two fantasy-related Jade Harley theories? Leave a comment below and be sure to like and share with a Homestuck friend. Does this make Yiffany the Homestuck version of Lear? I don't know. The story that cemented the Dark Red Riding Hood allegory for me was The Company of Wolves by Angela Carter. It was required reading in college. I think it was for the Power of Myth and Symbol class? This was the same class that had me sitting in the rain for 20 minutes to try to connect to the earth or something. For a quarter of my final grade, of course. Not one of my favorite professors, but I sure learned a lot about folklore. One last thing, I've got one, possibly two big Homestuck-related projects that I want to have completed by 4/13, so make sure you're subscribed and adjust the bell settings so you can stay notified for channel news and updates. There's also Twitter and Facebook links in the description below if you're like me and don't log on to YouTube to watch videos that often. Not gonna lie, I'm nervous that I'm not gonna complete the projects in time. Kind of daunting. Speaking of updates, it's a mystery when Homestuck 2 is gonna be updated because, whoo boy, that tea is hot. If you know, you know. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!
Hey there. Consider becoming a patron. just like the phenomenal Bleed Red, Alexander Madeline, Uranium Coffee, Ryan Nelson, and Runda.